Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. It's just me at the moment. I hope Dom is on his way, but if not, it doesn't matter. I'm here for a bit either way. So I hope everyone is doing well. Nice to see a few of you have joined us. I can see Captain Jack is floating about. Orkster, also my lovely wife Vicky, and Fel Pyre has also joined the party. How is everyone doing this evening? Just get this on here. There we go. So I can see all your lovely chats. But and my hair is very crazy today. So enjoy that. And what is everyone working on this evening as well? And Dom is apparently on his way, so he should be here shortly. But that's all right. Cool. That's good to know. Yeah. So Felpire has finished working on a Necron Overlord. Orcs is doing well, working on my Orc Boys and Knight Army. Excellent. Good to have a few things on the burner. Yourself, Captain Jack, if you've made it back. Although I think Orcs thought it might be the fact he turned out you went away. So that's not true though. And well, yeah. So what am I doing tonight? Well, having finished my gladiators before the tournament last weekend and did all that, I'm now back on my Titan. So what I'm actually working on at the moment is actually Titan pieces. So these are like the leg guards and some above knee guard parts, and I suppose the best term for it is the groin cover, the Titan groin cover. So yeah, I'm just getting some base. I sprayed into a certain degree. I'm just putting some Abaddon black on them, and then I'm going to be working through basically getting the highlights done on these parts, then reattaching them to the legs on the model, and then essentially working on the rest of the knight in one big part. Because I need to have it done and repainted before our Apocalypse game in April. Jack says, I'm back, just finishing some 8-bound, then going to start the... Oh, very nice. Some very stuff going. I have been keeping an eye on your all your lovely painting hobby progresses in our Discord, so it's good to see everyone doing that. And I can see quite a few people jumped on for the base challenge. Anyone else doing the base challenge in here? I hope a few of you are. There's only 5 bases. 5 bases gets you in. So obviously, if you want to up the ante a bit, you can. Yeah, I'm not saying there's additional prizes, but you know, at the end of the day, if you can do more than that, that'd be why not? um, so yeah, obviously, just speaking about other bits that have been going on. Last week, weekend on Saturday, me and Dom did go to a Teams event. I'm sure we'll go into that in a bit more detail in a bit. I don't want to steal all that review until he's here, because I'm sure he would like to speak about it as well. And I started basically getting my whole army, my whole Black Templar army out of storage and starting to go through it and ready for this Apocalypse game, which we're hopefully going to have in kind of late April. And with a bit of luck, it means we'll have that up in May. So for those of you who have been waiting for one of our ones, because it's been a little while, it's been a year or so since we've actually, almost 2 years in fact, since we've actually done one. It's like one of our normal, just us two. This is obviously it's not the large one we did previously. So just the Templars versus kind of word bearers, chaos. I mean, obviously we tend to mix in a few of our other armies as well. You know, I might slot in the Red Scorpions, because it's been a little while since I've had them in a game actually, because they've been firmly in their box for a very long time. But you know, just because there's not much else I want to add to that army. It's kind of it's hit its goals. All the characters got legend-fied, so you know there wasn't really much more to add to it without turning it into a fully fledged new Marine army. And I don't really need one of those at the moment. I feel I have enough Marines to get on with. I did have a couple of little gifts given to me actually. I've acquired a repulsor and a land raider for my army because I believe Vicky is gradually deciding that she doesn't want to do her Crimson Fists anymore. So I had a couple of things that have just been sitting around on a shelf that she said, I sort of said, do you use them anymore? She said no. So I've been gifted them. So I'm going to convert them over to the to another Imperial Fist chapter. So it's not too, at least they were originally Imperial Fists. So it's not too much of a conversion apart from the colour scheme going from blue to black. So yeah, I've been looking forward to adding them to my things because that means I'll have 3 Las Cannon Land Raiders as well. Actually, very nice. Just need to get 2 more Crusaders now. Well, maybe, I don't know. That might be a bit too much. At least you're keeping them in the Dawn. Exactly, Jack. That's exactly what I said. At least they're staying in the Dawn family. So, and yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that actually because I've been really concentrating on my Templars recently. And I've actually been enjoying expanding it. I suppose the interesting thing I've been doing is while doing the Apocalypse kind of count up before we play and get points decided, I was sort of seeing what I could do, kind of what I could do from a point of view just Primaris stuff. So that's been one of my focuses to see what I've got in that. When I say Primaris, I say stuff that's legal in the current codex. I mean, I will play Legend stuff, but I'll see what I had outside of the Legends thing to see if what I could actually make up in a legitimate kind of force. Shane, no more Crimson Fish. Is she making another marine army? Oh, Vicky's in chat. She can tell you what she's doing. She's got 2 other little passion projects going for Warhammer at the moment. What are you working on there, Vicky? You gonna tell them? Don't want to steal your thunder. Hopefully she'll reply in a minute. If not, I will tell you because that'll be rude. But yeah, so basically just working through any backlogged Templar stuff that I've got, and trying to make it all kind of sit together. There we go. World Eaters and Blackie Legions. She actually got quite a few World Eaters, to be honest. And she got Angron at Christmas, which she's just kind of starting to work with on the painting side of things. And I think the Black Legion was basically born out of a combat patrol, which is nice because it means we've got some very opposing forces in the household again. No allied forces soon. We can take all our marital disputes to the gaming table. We can roll a d6. And yeah, I mean, actually, to be fair, obviously, I've got some Night Lords that I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with at the moment. I think I spoke about it previously. I think they may become like potentially a 30k army if I ever get around to doing it. I haven't really felt the drive to paint them or do anything with them recently. Mainly because they were a lot of the stuff I built for them was kind of removed from live play, so I can't really use them in a if I just wanted to flip over and do a quick Night Lord game. Unfortunately, I don't have enough points of stuff that would actually make up a decent list for anything. So without all of my little Forge Worldy bits that I can't actually use in a kind of tournament setting. So yeah, I do have my Death Guard though, which I've had out a couple of times, and they're still all legit because I started collecting them not too long ago. Do you need to get some more? I think I like to get some more Blight Lord Terminators. So I don't think the 15 I have is enough. I think 20 is a much nicer number. Or have I? No, actually, I do have 20. Excuse me. Maybe I need to get 30 on 3 squads. Although I will confess, painting them was quite a tall order actually, because they are very detailed models, Blight Lord Terminators. But I must admit, there's a lot of Death Guard players out there at the moment. That's what I've noticed. The tournament one where we were at the other weekend was that I played Death Guard twice in one day, and that was every team seemed to have a Death Guard player except us actually, oddly enough. But we had Chaos times 2, And so yeah, current project is Titan to be repainted in my black-white scheme with all my lovely edge highlighting I've been doing, which is basically what I'm prepping these parts for now. I'm just doing their base coat of bad and black, and then I'm going to start layering up all the various edges on it, and also get some of the detail that I didn't do last time. So, but I'm sure everyone here loves edge highlighting. It's one of the most funnest things to do in 40 in the painting world. So, what's everyone's opinion on edge highlighting? Does everyone like edge highlighting, or do people prefer other techniques? I've always wondered, because I do find it's one of those methods which can be a bit torturous sometimes on certain models. If you get one with a lot of kind of, I suppose, a lot of hard edges on it. I mean, Marines are quite a good example of that, because they do tend to have lots of edges that can be highlighted. I mean, even just down to the standard Marines that, whereas I find, like, I don't know, a Chaos model as a comparison tends to have a lot more trim, which I know you can obviously do the similar job on it, but I think there's a lot of, I suppose, people like to use like brass and copper and stuff like that, a bit more chaotic. And watching Vicky do the Angron model is interesting. Jack says, I love highlighting 90% of my minis. I love highlighting 90%. Okay, dry brush, cool, all right. I made the mistake of basing my whole army around edge. Yep, don't worry, Sam. That is exactly how my armies are done now as well. So I don't really have a way of getting out of that particular thing now. And besides, I do love the effect, the overall end effect, because it comes out nice. If you spend a bit of time on it, it can come out very nice. I have found that typically when I do edge highlight now, it's not just one edge highlight. I have to do about 5 of different types and blend it, and then I also have a little wash that I use now as well. So, but to be fair, the overall effect at the end, I would say it was worth it. So I don't feel bad for doing it. It's just one of those things. It's when you're painting models and you sit down and go, right, I'm just going to do this one tank, and then you realise this tank is very angular, and requires an inordinate amount of edge highlighting to finish. And then I know Felpire had his Necrons, and I know he probably has a very similar issue with some of the models in that army, considering even the rib cages probably need an edge highlight. So but it's all good. And there we go. So yeah, I must admit, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how the Titan ends up finished once I have done all of it, because the top of it turned out very nicely, and I've really fancied getting some of the joint work done on, well, the joint cover work done before cracking on with the rest of it. Yes, Felpire, many edges. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. Living in the world of edge highlighted armies, especially when you do one, it comes out all right, and you're like, well, I better do the rest of them that way then, hadn't I? So has anyone had any new purchases for their armies in the last sort of since the last week since we spoke? Anyone picked up anything new and exciting? So obviously I picked up those 2 second-hand vehicles, so I'm very happy about that. But I don't know if anyone else has been out in a purchasing spree, or has their eye on anything in particular. Nothing. Wow. Yeah, because the other thing I've been kind of working through doing is I've been having a little clear out. So I've been collating things I want and don't want, kind of bagging them up in different formats, or in some cases, unfortunately, I have thrown a few bits away, but they're normally stuff that's beyond the point of a repair, or looking at it going, why do I have this still? That kind of level of thing. So it's not, don't worry, it's not a complete like wholesale removal. It's just one of those things when you're looking at things going, I don't even know why I have this anymore. And I'm because one of the things that we're going to be hopefully doing soon is when we move house at some point in the next year or so. I don't want to be taking too much stuff with me, so here we are. Jack says, picked up some Exalted 8 lads so I can have a legal World Eaters army and some Chaos Termies for my other homebrew army. Mrs. got me Khan and a Chaos Knight for B-Day 2. Can't touch them till April. I take it that's because it's not your birthday yet, Jack. So, because all the best birthdays happen in April. But yeah, I've actually got I have a squad of Terminators sitting up behind me somewhere, which are still all in box, apart from one of them, which I was doing a test on, which were going to be for my Night Lords, but when it was kind of when I was in the mood for doing them, and now I've just put them on the shelf, so they're there. I might because I don't think I can use them for Death Guard because I don't have the standard Terminator sets now because it has to be Blight Lord, which is fair enough. I mean, I could model them up, I suppose, but I've got them there as an option because I do like the Terminator kit for the Chaos ones. They are it's actually quite a nice kit. I do have some of the dreaded Raptors as well. So, yeah. And so, yeah, with regards to the Apocalypse stuff coming up, that's the other thing I've been doing is I got all of my boards out, and I'm currently, sadly, trying to flatten them because the MDF ones I had and did the previously, they've warped slightly, which was a bit sad. I will say, but I'm using the turnover and weight down and see if it will gradually sort of freshen them out. I even got my old Realm Battle board out because it's got a nice hill on it, and I'm just exploring options on that. When me and Don were talking about it, we were kind of thinking the only downside is that models did tend to slide down the hills when you put them on there, which isn't ideal. However, I forgot I used, well, being Vicky when we painted, we used textured paint, so actually it's got a fair bit of grip on it. And I was doing some testing, and yeah, the Dreadnoughts weren't sliding down, which is good. And single models didn't seem to slide down either. It's just one of those things, they normally start like an avalanche effect when you stack them all up. So when one starts sliding, they hit one, and then which is not ideal when you're trying to play. I mean, actually, I suppose it's one of the design flaws of that that set. And it's, I think the one set I wish I bought was the Realm of Battle when it was the kind of the city baseline one. Although actually, I suppose just even remember the Fordrel ones. That's another, yeah, the old Fordrel, 2x2 sets, or foot by foot. Yeah, I think it's two. Yeah, I think it's two by two squares. Because I remember you could get the ones with like the landing pad and the thing, and I mean you could buy the Citadel at one point, but that's a little kind of. I think they just canned all of it, to be fair. So I don't know, kind of, if they'll ever go back to doing that again. I presume probably not, because I think mats have kind of taken over in a weird way. And I know I've had this conversation before, but it's just like, I don't know. I kind of miss those textured kind of things. So I'm a little peeved at the moment with Chaos as army. My original World Eaters army was going well, but since the new edition, most of the units can't be used for, and we can't be used yet. Yeah, Jack. That's, you know what, Vicky had the same thing because she was she had quite a sizable World Eaters army, but then obviously when the Codex dropped and they changed all the setup for it, she lost probably about, I'm going to say probably close to almost 40% of it. And stuff that she painted in that scheme as well. And it was kind of like, well, what do I use these for then? Because you can't. That's the thing. You had to either start an entire other Chaos army or come up with another plan for them. So I don't really know what to say about that. I completely agree though. It's a bit sucky. The only thing I think you guys can, hope for is maybe when the World Eaters Codex comes out that they add some, maybe not those things directly back in, but I suspect the army as a whole might get expanded again because they tend to do that because it was like their first wave last time, and they'll probably add some additional units in every time they release Codex now to build up those back catalogues. But there were, I think that you lost access to a really big portion of it. So, and yes, I'd missed the tiles as well, Jack. Quite frankly, because they were. But saying that, I say Forge World. I mean, Forge doesn't even exist anymore. So, they're professional kits, guys. Professional. So just remember that when you get one of those kits, you are a professional modeler at that point, all right? So put that on your CV. Right. So yeah, these are now coated in their base of Abaddon Black, and now I have to get the. I've got to start doing some mixing. So I'm going to go through my steps here. So we have an Abaddon Black and Incubi Darkness 50-50 mix for the first highlight. So it needs to get that done. So let's get that sorted out. So don't worry, I'm not going to start doing paint tutorials. I don't think I could. I don't think I could do them particularly good justice. From a quality point of view, but also a yeah, just I think it's just not my style of filming stuff for YouTube, quite frankly. I think I really love people that can do it, but yeah. Okay. So speaking of paints, Vicky, as an example, just started to have a look at some of the Too Thin Coats range, and I was actually quite impressed with the ones that she's picked up. So I'm going to probably, as and when they start to bring, because he's got a very nice matching chart now, so I might actually have a look. And the weird thing is, it's not really about the paint; it's more about the kind of the bottle that they come in, because I much prefer the dropper bottles. I think I've said this before, but I do. I mean, here's a prime example. So I've treated this one with a fair bit of care. It's a very new pot, and you just get this all the time. You scrape it out, and even when you're very meticulous with it, you constantly get this. There's another one that they lead belcher, just tons of it there. That, and they don't always stay open the way you want them to. I think I found one, oddly enough, when I was tidying up today, I found one that I sort of flipped upside down. The lid had kind of just about stayed on, but I noticed it was oozing out the edges, and I was like, oh, come on. There you go. That's all just cleared that one out again. I'm pretty sure I did this one last time as well. So let's get rid of all that there. Ooh, come on. Gosh, there's loads. So you get mucky hands. Another bit chunk there. There we go. And now the lid shuts perfectly again. Right, that's mixed. Now we're going to crack on with getting this done. Apologies if I go silent for a bit, because normally this is a two-person thing, and I'm not the best at the small talk. So if any of you got any topics you want me to ramble about while we wait, please feel free to put it in chat, and I will do my best to give you my wonderful opinion on it. Well, don't worry, you haven't missed too much, Krista, because I'm currently on my own. Dom is apparently on his way. I don't know if he's just having a slightly later than usual bedtime routine, which sometimes does happen. And I hope you're doing well. What are you up to this evening? I know I think your clocks changed the other week, didn't they? So you're currently kind of in sync with us at the moment, because I think you've been able to join us. But unfortunately, just so you are aware, this weekend is the weekend that our clocks will go forward. So you'll lose that lovely bit of hour to come and join us in this additional hour that you've been getting for the last 3 or 4 weeks, whatever it was that you guys got. Which I actually did not realise that other countries changed their hours at a different date, which I just find very weird. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully nothing too serious. I hope you feel better. So there's been a pretty big bout of random illnesses happening around here recently. Just everyone being a bit sick. You can tell by my throat's a little bit sore at the moment as well, bizarrely. And I've been feeling fine. There we go. So also other things I've been found while I was doing my tidying was I found the newer Apocalypse set, which I had a brief flick through, and I was like, oh blimey, I don't think I opened this since we last played it, and that was obviously quite a few years ago, and it did get me thinking about Apocalypse a little bit actually. I'm just wondering if they're ever going to do another new rule set for it actually, because obviously at the moment it's still got the one set that we don't use. We just tend to obviously just play 40k at a bigger scale, which I think is fine for us because that's the way we enjoy doing it. I'm just wondering I wonder if they'll ever actually do another full-scale set of it, or if they're going to abandon that as the game system. Obviously I hope not, but it'd be nice to see some fresh, maybe some fresh eyes on it actually, to see if they can get it to be kind of a bit more supported again. Because I'd like to see like I wouldn't necessarily want to see change all the data cards for it, because I think that was one of the big problems I had with it actually, was the way they obviously had a set. A friend of ours says, yeah, honestly, you guys moving your clocks ahead is actually more convenient for me. I work until 4:30 p.m. and now your stream starts at 4, so I don't get to watch. Oh, fair enough. I wasn't sure if it was bad or a good thing. Oh, but actually, yeah, saying that. So I'm going to do a very rare thing here, so just excuse me standing up for a second. I've actually got it. Just sitting up. Ooh, hello. Let's not drop that on my head. I have it here. Little show and tell. Because, oh my lord. Yeah, I forgot about all this. So you got this wonderful little field manual, which having I'll tell you what's quite funny about this actually is the when you look back at the older kind of books and the different style that you get. Do you remember the other detachments earlier? You found your copy of there and all the governments are still sealed. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's like you had these cool detachment rules and things like that, which was a very bizarre. I remember obviously all these detachments being in the previous edition. Yeah, I'm quite glad they're gone now to a certain degree. But yeah, and then it was just literally cards, lots of cards, and weird. I think obviously 12-sided dice at 12. I think it was 12-sided dice. Yeah, you got bundles of that and some big D10s. And yeah, most of this was all preset kind of commands for each army. It was all printed out. I don't think they did anything additional for this at all since it's been out. I don't think there's been any add-on for it whatsoever, which is just shows you that it's. I don't think it really caught on. I think it was I think I get the kind of impression it was like an afterthought kind of thing, like, oh, we better do something about Apocalypse. Let's have a really bad go at it. So, excuse me. Yeah, we were. The other thing we were planning on doing, but we didn't quite get around to, is we were hoping to have someone else on stream to go through some of like the some of the team listing, because it was we thought it'd be quite nice to get a different point of view. So I'll go through, because I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what's going on here, so I'm going to very quickly go through kind of some of the tournament stuff from the other weekend. So obviously, me and Dom, you saw. For those who watched last week, you obviously saw me and Dom play with our tournament list. So I was taking a Templar list, and he took a World Eater list. What's this say? I wonder if newer player have epoch size armies nowadays, or just built to a point level. I mean, that is a fair point. Um, I I think I suppose a lot of players probably just get what they need to play the game now, and that I suppose the less that Apocalypse is spoken about in the mainstream, they probably don't even realise kind of that that's an option. Because I mean, ultimately we play it because we used to play it and we still like playing it. But yeah, from a new influx of players, I guess it's been so geared towards those skirmish style level games at a certain points level. I mean, why would you ever go beyond that kind of collection point, except for if you like the modelling side of the hobby? If you're purely just doing gaming and you've built your list and that's what you want, then that's what you're going to keep, isn't it? Um, and luckily, we still enjoy that style of game, but I wouldn't say everyone probably does. So I mean, that's a fair point, Jack. It's one of those ones you'd love to play more often, but because of the logistics involved, it's not really that easy just to sort of whip a 40,000 point game together. Excuse me. Right. My screen's playing up. Sorry, guys. What's going on there? That's better. Excuse me. So now that there's a few more people here, who else is doing the 5 base challenge for this month? Let's see. Also, if you've got any progress shots, don't forget to go and show them off in Discord, because I'd love to see what you guys are doing. I've seen a few already. There's some really cool stuff coming out. But yeah, going back to the team event. Obviously, the 5 of us went. I'll let Dom tell you about his games when he gets here. I had 3 games. I had one against Death Guard, one against the Thousand Suns, and one against Death Guard again. And 2 out of the 3 games were very enjoyable. First Death Guard player was a guy who come down from South London. He sort of he hadn't played many tournaments, but it was a really good game. It was very close as well. Didn't quite win, but it was because obviously for those who don't play the team format, it's not just about the win. I mean, it does help, but it's all about how much you win by as a whole. So, for instance, like my first game, I think was 73 or 72 to 85. So I was so the closer you are together, you have it's the difference between the scores, which is actually the score you get for each side. So if I lost by 4 points, I have a score of 4, and then the other player has the score of the other in the other direction. So and you take that difference and then you allocate it across the whole team, and it gives you kind of like a weighted win-loss ratio across your whole team, which actually can be quite good fun. And I can tell you now that I didn't actually win any of my games, but I did not lose any of them terribly except for the last one, and that was much more down to tiredness and maybe a clash of personality with the last player, who I did not enjoy thoroughly playing with for the last 3 hours of the tournament day. I'm being very nice when I say that. But the first 2 players had a really good game. The Thousand Sun player, I think it was a guy from the team called the Tuesday Nights, obviously spelled with a K. And yeah, had a very cool Thousand Suns up. I'd never played Thousand Suns, by the way, against them, not on this edition anyway. I was just gobsmacked by the amount of stuff they can do. It was actually very, very intimidating, quite scary when you have not played them before. And it was going very much in my favour for a very good portion of the game. But then, fortunately, it's one of those things where it just started to drip the other way towards the end. I couldn't quite hang on, and I think there was 9 points in it in the end. Both were scored quite high, but I didn't quite get the shift on the win. but I did very much enjoy just playing the game, to be honest. Um, let's see. Sorry, one second. I was just concentrating on this slightly irritating bit on this leg piece. Um, and then, and yeah, and what I found, I think the thing I found while playing my 3 games was my list is much improved, and I think my play is much improved. But there's still like little things that weren't quite working, and I would say the worst performing item on my list was my eradicators, and they have now been expunged from my tournament list, and they'll be now. I'm going to double down on the bits that did work. So, like for instance, the Gladiator Valiant, it's absolutely fantastic. I loved using those tanks. They had such good range of firepower and usefulness. That actually the best. I did get an accolade of the most disrespectful move of the day for the team in a funny way. It wasn't like a gotcha or anything like that. It was I drew the objective capture enemy outpost in my last turn, and it was obviously that's worth 8 points. Just for you, for those guys who don't know, in the ITC, because in the scoring system it's worth 8 points if you can manage it. And he had a squad of, I think it was 10 cultists, Death Guard cultists sitting on the back end field. And I'd somehow managed to get one jump pack guy that I had remaining onto the objective, but obviously he was not going to swing the OC in my favour in that format. So I realised that my Gladiator tank was actually in range to charge in the charge phase, because shooting them wasn't an option because they weren't visible, but I could just about charge around the corner and get in to see them. So I needed exactly 12 to charge. So I rolled a 3. I then just went, screw it. CP reroll, blink of an eye. Rolled a 12. I then tank shocked them and killed over half the squad, and the Power Fist guy managed to kill off enough that the OC and the Battle Shock stuff all kind of kicked in, and I was able to control that with 8 points. But it was deemed the most disrespectful play for the for the day. Yeah, losing it to a tank, because I think the Gladiator obviously rolled very well on it. I think I've got 5 or 6 5s for mortal wounds on the Gladiator tank shock table, and yeah, he was a bit exasperated, so to say, but he did sort of see the funny side of it at the end of it, and he still just about pipped me anyway. To be honest, not getting those 8 points at the end would have made the score much worse for me. So don't underestimate tank shock, people. It's very useful. Okay, that's looking a bit better. Has any of you guys been playing any games recently, or had any fun ones, or just a bit of a dice rolling session? I feel like I should maybe get a little kind of section in Discord for your games, so you can kind of do some snapshots of them. I think it'd be quite nice to get a collection of all you guys who are playing games. Or we'll start a channel army where everyone we'll pick an army and everyone's got to do a model for it, and then we can come together like once a year and play with all of it. Start 2 opposing factions, so you can either join Team Tom or Dom. And then we just make you play Word Bearers and Black Templars, and then that way you can all just come in and we'll start a massive apocalypse game, and everyone brings in 1,000 points each. There we go. We'll pay for your flights and everything, don't worry. Dom will anyway. Dom will pay for your flights. That's what he told me anyway. So when he does sort of question it, just say that's what he said. All right. Right. Second knee pad. Or ankle pad, I think this is actually more accurately. I'll tell you what else, actually, I watched, going into a more of a filming based topic, I watched the new Roadhouse with Vicky the other day, and it was thoroughly stupid and somehow quite enjoyable. Orkster. Been wrapping up at the end of our Blood Bowl season. One game to go against Son of All People. Oh, against my Son of All People. And then we'll probably get some 40k. Nice. I've never tried Blood Bowl really. It's been one of those games I've been quite tempted to get involved with, but never really pulled the trigger on it. I think the last kind of board style one I bought was probably Shadespire, which I used to. I mean, when I had it initially, I actually played quite a few games there. It was actually good fun. Yeah, one of the local game stores here runs a Blood Bowl season from here as well, and you do see some regular updates. How we doing? Yes, but the whole kind of single kind of small game systems for Games Workshop, I've never really. I suppose I've liked them, but I've never really committed to one. You know, I've got a Necromonger gang. I've got yeah, I think the last big one we played was the Assassination Force, the Assassination Force one, which came out. That was actually quite fun. Because for those who don't know, I have a reasonable board game collection knocking about in the other room as well, which I play very sporadically when I can. But I've got the one I actually used to enjoy quite a bit was the Warhammer 40k version of Relic. Because I've got that and I've got the add-on for it. And I was talking to a couple of friends recently about it. Actually, they said they might be interested in sort of giving it a go one evening. I think it'd be quite good fun. Because I haven't had that out for a little while, but it's because we used to do like a Tuesday night game session, but we kind of, it's just one of those things that unfortunately just time wise hasn't really materialized and kept happening. But we used to do that as a kind of a Tuesday evening kind of game, along with some other, obviously we played 40k as well when we fancied a bit of a board game, because it was like when we tried the Deathwatch RPG as well. Don't know if anyone's tried that before. That was interesting. I tried DMing that without any experience whatsoever, and I found it exceptionally intimidating to get myself into doing. It's a very weird RPG system, because when you're trying to DM for a group of Space Marines, it's I mean the power level's kind of well up here, so I think one of the mistakes I made was I didn't make the enemies kind of strong enough or get this encounters high enough up, because it was just pretty much a cakewalk most of the time. It's like, you've destroyed that encounter. That's great. I need to ramp it up a bit. Blood Bowl is great. Low entry level and plenty of activity, tournaments and leagues. Rules are pretty stable. Off to Greece to play Euro Bowl in September 8th. Oh, really? Oh, cool, Orkster. That sounds really good fun. Yeah, I mean, I have seen. I mean, it's one of those things that I do see a lot of Blood Bowl leagues about. I believe it's one of the more popular kind of offshoot games. There's plenty of them sort of knocking about, so I would expect, that one has. Yeah, I mean, I just see more tournaments for that one anyway. So, yeah, having got a heard some people talk about 40k RPGs. Every always says you can see CSM Marines run as they are virtually unkillable. Yeah, I mean, this was the weird thing about it, because when you're playing the Deathwatch one, obviously you're doing Deathwatch Marines, and I think it was a hard one for me to wrap my head around it from a DM point of view, because you're dealing with essentially superhuman killing machines. And when you're playing a traditional other, like an RPG like D&D or something like that, you've got a kind of I suppose you've got a kind of a reference in your head of, okay, this thing can do this, because most things have got a human element to them. But when you think about Space Marines, like, how many of these, how many Tyranids could these people kill? I have no idea. This is the thing. You don't have that frame of reference. Which I found quite amusing, because because obviously the other one that came out, which I haven't had the opportunity to play, was the other RPG one that I can't remember the damn name of it now. It wasn't too long ago, but it didn't get a huge amount of traction, I don't think. It's a shame because I think the world could do with a decent 40k RPG, but I think it has to be the right format. And you know, I mean, obviously, Inquisitor was the last proper one that I remember, which unfortunately I missed the boat on. I had a couple of friends who used to play it, but I never really got involved with it at the time because I wasn't really interested in that kind of thing when at that age. This is going back years, many years. I wasn't really interested super duper in those kind of games. You know, it's one. But then when you I got into D&D quite late as well, and then you start thinking, oh, I'll go back and try this. And I know you can go back and play these old game systems. It's fine, but um, you know, it's getting a group of people that want to play it because it's unfortunately those particular games you can't really play on your own. Well, you can, but it's definitely not as fun when you're trying to DM for yourself. Because yeah, for those who don't know, I play D&D typically on a Wednesday. That's what I do every week on the evening. We had a couple of weeks break due to life. It happens, but yeah, we've had a campaign going on for quite some time, and it's been good fun when we get to play. And that was my first experience of actually playing it properly, and that's also inspired me to say that when we finish this one, I'm hopefully going to DM the next one that we do. So we'll see how that goes. Don't know if any of you guys even play D&D, but I suspect some of you may do. Oh, come on now. Organised thing, just got to have one of my 40k RPGs and all the add-ons I've got on. Yeah, I have do you know what, Jack? I have exactly the same thing. I'm pretty sure I have an absolute boatload of stuff that I purchased quite a few years ago on Humble Bundle when it was good. I mean, obviously, I think you still get. Actually, to be fair, I say good. I mean, I used to get it I used to do the choice thing where you used to get some reasonably good games every now and then. But I found actually that's not as good as it used to be. But the book bundles and audiobook bundles that crop up every now and then are normally fantastic. So I do keep an eye out on those, and I think I did pick up a massive amount of RPGs from there. Actually, I think that's where I've got some of the Deathwatch stuff actually as well, many moons ago. But it's also good for for audiobooks because they did I think a little while ago they had a massive Horus Heresy set. Um, I do apologise, guys, but my throat is starting to get very sore, so I may have to go in a minute. I want to hang on for the hour at least. I suspect something has happened to Dom, and he has been delayed to much more than he was expecting. Right. However, what has everyone managed to get done in the last 50 or so minutes? Let's see what you guys have been working on. Come on, let's hear. Has anyone got any serious progress done in the last 50 minutes? Because it may not look like I have, but I've done 2 sets of highlights so far. So not too bad, actually. I think the only problem I've got with this particular stage is that it's just trying to work out which parts that were highlighted because it's such a subtle highlight. This particular black I'm doing at the moment, that I'd like going, have I done this bit? And Vicky's working on some 8-band as well. Nice. What about Angron though? What about Angron? Just adding on some texture to the 8-bound, nearly excellent. Yeah, I've got to think about what I'm going to do about the base for this Titan as well, because it's currently quite flat, and I've posed it in such a way that I can actually do a bit more to it. So instead of painting, finished off building and filling some Blood Bowl hells. More built, ready for paint. Need to get the paint. That's it. Put off the painting part of it. Don't worry about it. It'll happen. It magically happens. The paint part. If you put enough models together, they eventually somehow start getting painted. So definitely don't worry about that part of it. Just it will gradually happen. We've all been there. Don't worry. Yeah, the other thing I found today some very old models that I bought a long time ago. Just some of the not blood elves. I've forgotten the name of them now. One with Marathi in it. It's gone. It's gone out of my head. It was an AOS army, which I remember endeavouring to start at one point, but decided that it was definitely not for me in the end. I never really got into AOS, to be fair. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it there because I cannot solo talk for much longer tonight. But thank you for coming to hang out with me and doing a bit of modelling and stuff. Hopefully, we'll be back up to full strength next week. Yeah, thank you for joining, and hope all your painting's gone well. And don't forget, is it next week? No, it's the week after. Don't forget, we've only got 2 weeks left on the challenge, so don't forget to get on with that and get them all in and ready for that Tuesday. Yeah, thank you all for watching. Little old me paint away, and I will hopefully see you all soon. So take care, everyone. This is Tom from Black Toe Studio. I will see you all soon.